Welcome back to the Nakama podcast. It's me, Sal, and I'm here with Peralta. We've been MIA for a while, mostly because
It's canceled.
no, we always take breaks and then we wait for things to catch up. Today we're actually going to be talking about. This is a super long one. I'll become the villainess who goes down in history, I believe is the full title. This is one that I did choose specifically with you in mind, Peralta. So I know how much you like these ones, and I'm going to be straight forward with it. I think this one was the better one that we have seen, and I'm pretty sure we've seen like maybe 5 or 6 of these at this point.
They have one every season.
There is a lot of characters, but the main character is Alicia Williams. I skipped the straight up intro because it gave me the option to skip the intro, so I missed. Did she die? Or did she just wake up in this video game?
I think she died, but she knew something happened to her, and she was like, "I'm in my favorite video game."
Because I skipped intro. As soon as I saw skip intro button, I pressed it twice, and I was like, "That's weird." And then yeah, it was like, I know I'm gonna be the villainess, and I'm gonna play how I'm gonna do it. So she's the overall main character. There are side characters like Alicia was born of a noble family, and in this weird fantasy world, apparently only nobles can have magic, and she knows that the heroine of this story is going to be born. So or actually, I think she's already born. So she kind of knows how things are going to go down. So you have her whole family who, just thought of her as this lazy, spoiled brat. So when the main character inhabits the body, they're like, "Hey, what the heck? What happened to being lazy?" And now she's like, "Well, nothing weird about me," because she's trying to be a villain as a child, which is kind of hard to be when you're like 8.
5.
Yeah, however old she is. So she tries to learn magic, and she does. She learns that the body she's inhabiting is really, really good at absorbing knowledge, not so good at physical strength, but she's working on it. And she even like points out, I think the reason I like this one is right off the bat, all of them are the same, where it's just like, I need to become stronger, better, faster than everyone. But this is one like actually shows you the steps that the main character is doing to become better, and she does point out like the only thing holding me back is my own ambition. So I think that's the reason why I like this one a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
She does run across her brother, who I believe is the prince, right? Prince Duke something.
He's one of the helpers.
Yeah.
He's not a main character.
Oh, I thought. Then I guess I misunderstood that. So she has like her little cast. Apparently the king asked a 5-year-old, "Yo, what's some political advice you can give me?" And because again, she does know the game, and she was probably a 15, 16-year-old in our real world. So she dropped some knowledge, and she sneaks off because she's like, "Yo, what's the point of having all this book smart without real world experience?" Which I do believe people do need to have, because you might know how to do stuff, but until you actually get your hands dirty, you're like, "Oh, I didn't know that." As my what's it called? I work as a custodian. It blows my mind when people don't know how to unfold the table and stack chairs. It is crazy when I'm watching adults and children not knowing how to do it. And it's like, yo, I know we didn't take any special training to be custodians, but you guys are making me feel real special right now. But anyways, she goes to run downtown. She doesn't really see anything. This blind guy kind of approaches her, and he's like, "Yo, I know you're noble because I might be blind, but my senses are heightened." Points out how he was able to tell that she was noble, and he tells her like, "Yo, please don't come back. Like, it's not safe for you here." But she's like, "Oh, but I want to know, what's the real world like?" So he's like, "Okay, if you're gonna insist on coming, only come at night and just come directly to me." So the story keeps progressing. She wants to learn how to fight with the sword, so she can be the rival to the heroine, because the entire point of the anime is that she wants to beat her. So she has to be better at everything, because she knows the heroine, you, the player, would be better at everything. So that's just how it progresses. Some turning points that does separate this, at least in my opinion, to the other animes that are similar to this, is the people in the real world, in their real world, kind of know something's up. Like, not with her right away, but they're like, yeah, it is. We do get occasionally people that are really gifted with magic, and they don't keep an eye on them. They're called divergents, and then they explode. I think that was the implication, right? That like their mana just gets crazy and they just explode.
Yeah, I don't know if they explode. I just know that they keep them on like tight wraps.
So, if you're familiar with this format, it sticks pretty much close to it, except for I watched the dub. I don't know when you watched it. Did you watch the dub or subbed?
I watched both because I continued.
Okay, yeah, I thought you would. One of the young, like when she's a kid, I mean, she's still a kid even when she gets to the academy. One of the voice acting people, which is so bland, it just caught me so off guard. It's like, how did people tell you it was okay to do this? But anyways, those are my main thoughts. Like, I don't want to spoil it too much because you kind of already know how it's going to go down. There are some little turns here and there, but for the most part, it is like just like all the other ones, except for it does show you a little bit how the rest of the state, the country is in, because that town that she sneaks off to at night, she goes during the day and is watching people become horrible to one another, and not just to an adult on adult, but like you straight up see like two grown ass men beating up this like 5 year old, and they were perfectly fine with it, like it was a regular thing to do on a Tuesday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
I would recommend. I think all of the Villainous series are funny. This one's a little bit different because as much as she wants to be evil or like the ruthless ruler or villain, she ends up just being a good person, which is kind of backfiring. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I agree, because that 5 year old that's getting just dropped by these adults, she rescues him sort of, and you know, he's like, oh, this kid is grew up being abused, so me being nice, he's automatically going to keep me at arm's length. But if it was the heroine, she would have, told him some encouraging words and melt his ice heart. But it's like, because I'm going to be a villain, I'm going to be a dick and,
Yeah.
give him that motivation that I feel like a lot of kids nowadays need, where it's just like, yeah, you suck. You can just lay down here and die or improve yourself and, be better. So I do like that approach she did, because I do believe a lot of people need that.
Truth bombs.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else you want to say before we rate it and recommend, or?
No, it was a typical wholesome villainous isekai.
Yeah, I give this like a solid 7 out of 10. Would recommend to Lynn. I might continue this one. I mean, it's dubbed, so it does take away a lot of the focusing of reading, and I do like the little bit of turns and pivots it does compared to the other ones.
I would give it a 7 as well. It is probably out of all the villainous ones in the past 2 years is probably a good one. Just because it's a little bit different and there's this weird love triangle thing that's happening, but I don't think the main character sees it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
because the little young prince was like maybe already 15 years old and she's like 8.
yeah, you're not wrong. Uh, but anyways, I would recommend it. Peralta likes these ones. I specifically chose this with you in mind, and I'm glad that it was good. This other one, totally did not think it was going to go down this route, but it's called "Tying the Knot with a Amagami Sister." With the title and the profile on my anime list, I thought it was going to be a somewhat,
Wholesome.
yeah, wholesome anime, and it immediately backfires. And the first thing you see is three women, girls in different ages, just in their undergarments, and I was just like, immediately, it's like, yeah, Peralta's probably going to be mad at watching this,
I wasn't mad. It was just kind of like, okay, whatever.
right? So, main
Yeah.
character, I'm going to hella butcher it, but it's Yuryu uh, Kama Aya. I don't know. I'm terrible at this. Uh, that's the main character, bro. His whole personality is I want to become a doctor, so I got to study real hard every day. Anytime I'm awake, I'm studying. He is now living with the biggest sister, 20. He's 17. It is kind of important. The big sister is Yay Amagami, 20, college student. Cool. Also, big boobies. The medium
Benedict.
sister, yeah, yeah. The middle sister, Yuna Amagami, all of these are going to have the same last name, 17. So she's the same age as the main character. Kind of a jerk, real jerk vibe. And then we got the littlest sister, Asahi. She's 14, and that's why the ages kind of matter because the whole point you find out is the grandpa of the three sisters picked Yuri, main character, bro, to take over the shrine and marry one of the daughters, one of his granddaughters, and it just kind of becomes an isekai. Uh, yeah, the first episode is him kind of establishing I'm an atheist, which I think it's weird when they go down the I'm an atheist route, but I'm going to be in a church. Like, I don't think being an atheist automatically bars you from entering any church. If anything, I think you're kind of like the prime target to go to church. Like, I feel like if someone who is religious can convert you into their religion, I feel like an atheist is like the perfect way. Like, look, guys, if I was able to pull this guy, I can pull anyone else, you know?
He was just there to go study.
Yeah, no, he's there, but like he didn't know, he didn't know that he was going to be in a shrine. He just saw that someone was willing to give him a room for him to
I thought he
study.
knew it was a shrine because he was asking for the priest in the
Uh,
beginning, and then
yeah,
he meets the daughters, and he's confused because he thought no one was there except for the priest dude.
yeah. Well, yeah,
He went
yeah,
to the
you're right.
shrine. He went to the shrine for solitude so he could study, and then their grandpa wasn't there because he was off doing something, and that's how the sisters meet him.
You are 100% correct, which is fucked up because I watched this literally yesterday.
Oh,
Uh,
I watched this last week.
yeah. So, like you just said, yeah, he didn't know, or he did know. Again, they brought up the atheist thing because the middle sister Yuna, tells him like, "Yo, you should skedaddle. You're a pervert," and he's like, "Yo, no, I just want a place to study. I have a goal that I need to reach." While the little sister was snooping through his luggage, the older one sees that he has a picture of some lady. You're assuming it's his mom, sick in the hospital, and he's holding a bunch of those charms. I forget the names, but the little charms that are supposed to bring you good fortune or good luck.
Good health, good fortune,
There we go.
passing a test, all of those.
So, like,
You
as the
can
main
buy them
character,
at any shrine.
yeah. So, as the main character is telling the middle jerk sister, yeah, I don't believe in this stuff. You're silly if you believe in God's listening to your prayers. A gust of wind comes along, and a bird decides to take her little red robe
Her robe.
that, the sisters tell him, like, oh, my mom was a shrine maiden and she passed away, but with, each of us have one and we feel connected with her. So he feels bad that he told this to the middle sister. So he decides to be a bro and try looking for it in the middle of the night. And she stumbles across him praying at a shrine. And she even tells him, like, oh, I thought you didn't believe in this stuff. And he's like, yeah, well, if you believe in it, then, that's your thing. And I shouldn't have been a jerk. And I'm just trying to help find your little red string
Your
thing.
robe.
A meteor shower is happening, and he even tries to be like, "Look, see, this is the whole or not festival, but the whole. If you're outside during the meteor, you get all the dust on you. Is just there was a meteor shower, but it's the reflecting off of the cherry blossoms that are just started to drop." He's like, "Oh yeah, like this is the logical thing. It's not a miracle." And even the sisters are like, "Oh well, isn't it a miracle that you were here at this point in time looking at it, bro?" And then that's when the rope comes down, and then that was episode 1. Episode 2, the grandpa comes in and he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna marry one of these girls, so just choose whichever one you want." And when the main character is like, yeah, I don't know if I want to marry any of them. And the grandpa was like, oh, that's crazy that you don't want to marry one of my granddaughters. And here I was going to give you a good recommendation to a highly accepted college, but I guess not. I guess you can skedaddle. And then that's when the main character changes his mind, and the middle sister Yuna makes a plot to get him to leave on his own. That way, the grandpa, I guess, doesn't get mad at them for suggesting no marriage. And that's when you run across. I don't really know what she is. If it's like his love interest or like a big sister to him. If it's a pink haired girl named Bihara.
The big
Aikaji.
sister.
Yeah. And that's when you kind of find out that his mom did pass away. She took him in, Mihara took him in, and kind of showed him how to be a responsible adult by washing, cooking, and, being patient. And apparently she just lives with a bunch of not orphans, but kids whose parents are sick.
Like a foster mom,
Yeah.
roughly.
You want to do episode 3?
Is that when they go on their dates?
Yeah, that's when they all do their little marriage thing.
Oh yeah, they have like mini dates, and they get to know him better, and he gets to know them better, and he knows their interests and what they like.
Yeah, I think the weirdest one definitely is the youngest sister, because she's like 14 and he's 17, and it's like, come on, bro, you couldn't have just made her like 16 or something.
Yeah, but they're the shrine maiden, so clearly he has to find a suitor.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take a wild guess and say he's gonna choose the middle sister. Just throwing it out there. I feel like they've been kind of pushing that that's the one he's more in common with. Just she's the reversed version of him, kind of like, at least personality wise, where he's more reserved and is willing to bite his tongue, while she is not reserved and will speak what she's thinking about. To me, it kind of seems like they are pushing it more that it's going to be her, the one he chooses.
Yeah, but I think they're the same. I don't think they're opposites. I feel like their attitudes are parallel to each other. That's why they're fighting all the time, which is what the two sisters say.
Yeah. Well, who do you think he's going to get with? Don't say the little sister, bro.
No, it's gonna either go with the middle sister, but honestly, I don't think he'll marry her. They'll probably figure out a way to save their shrine, and he's gonna support it or whatever in a different capacity.
And imagine he actually gets with the oldest sister.
No, the older sister is, I don't know, the way she plays out is ditzy. Otherwise, to me, what could happen is that the older sister, and what older sisters typically do is they'll take the blame for it all and just do it themselves.
I don't know. This one didn't really give off that attitude, though. She kind of seemed like she was
No, but
with the middle
I don't
sister.
know. I don't.
Uh-huh.
If he marries someone, it's gonna be the middle sister because that's how it looks like it's being written. But I don't think that anyone's getting married in it.
Dang.
Because I think it's more about like their character development and like how the shrine is important in people's culture, and that he has to learn how to understand that culture while also understanding like Western medicine. And so they go back and forth between like old traditions or old culture versus like Western culture, which is what he's trying to do. And then obviously there's a connection to his mom and the shrine, which is probably the shrine that he was trying to pray through, and that's why he hates them, because his mom died and he tried to do Eastern culture rituals and it didn't work.
Dang. Yeah, you definitely thought it a lot deeper than I did. Like, well, yeah, once I saw the three not lewd, but saw all sisters in their underwear, and then in the second episode when he's like, the middle one's like, now you gotta wash our clothes, and again it's another scene, or all of them all had their scene where it was complete misunderstanding, but either the girl was on top of him or he was on top of the girl, and I was like,
Yeah, it's
this
just
is just going into like a harem, and he's gonna have to choose between the three.
yeah, but I don't think. I mean, it's a selling point, right? Like you
Yeah,
got fooled because you looked at the poster cover and then it got you.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he'll pick anyone. At least that's the vibe that I'm getting. They'll just leave you on a cliffhanger, like, oh, he'll live in this house and support them, and then they'll just end.
Dang, I guess we'll see. From scale to 1 to 10, I give this like a solid 7 again. Would not recommend without a disclaimer.
I would give it a 7 too. It's not as bad as some other animes that have different innuendos. This one's a little pretty tamed compared to others.
Yeah, and there
And I
is.
feel like there's more of a storyline and less of that.
Yeah, I definitely will say that it does touch upon people's different personality quirks, like the little sister talking about how she really likes to run, just to turn out that she's claustrophobic. So it's like, okay, that makes sense why you like running a lot, because that's when you are least feeling like you're stuck in a box. That's it for the episode. Tune in next week.